By the late 3rd century BC, the Mediterranean was adjusting to a new, hyper-militarized power in the West. The Roman Republic had recently defeated Carthage, establishing naval dominance and fielding legions that were ready for a new theater of operations. In the East, the political landscape was defined by a three-May standoff. Macedon, the Seleucid Empire, and Ptolemaic Egypt maintained a delicate regional stability through equal, opposing pressure. That equilibrium shattered in 205 BC. Egypt plunged into an internal revolt that paralyzed its government and effectively removed it from the board. The kings of Macedon and the Seleucid Empire immediately moved into the vacuum, seeking to annex newly undefended territories. This left the smaller, independent Greek city-states and kingdoms trapped between two predatory giants. Without Egypt to act as a counterweight, these minor powers faced the immediate prospect of total conquest. Fearing for their survival, wealthy states like Pergamon and Rhodes watched as the Macedonian king, Philip V, campaigned through the Aegean, seizing islands and threatening their independence. These smaller states eventually decided that their only hope was to ask for help from the outside. They sent envoys to Italy, requesting that the Roman Republic intervene militarily on their behalf. This request provided the Roman Senate with the exact justification they needed to move into the Greek world. They realized they would not have to force their way into the East if they were invited in as protectors. By requesting aid, the Greeks gave Rome an opening to intervene in Hellenistic affairs. It was the first step in a new strategy of using local alliances to influence the region from within. Step 1 of the Roman strategy involved building a coalition of local Greek leagues to confront the region's dominant power. By siding with these smaller states, Rome was able to corner and engage the Macedonian army. At the Battle of Cynocephali, the Roman system proved its effectiveness against the traditional Greek way of war. Small, flexible units of Roman infantry were able to maneuver into the gaps of the Macedonian line, flanking and fragmenting the rigid pike phalanx. Following the victory, Rome performed a calculated public relations maneuver. At the Isthmian Games, the Roman commander declared the Greeks free and autonomous, then marched his legions back across the Adriatic. This freedom came with a condition known as amicitia, or friendship. To the Romans, being a friend meant a state had become a client, legally bound to follow the Senate's lead in all matters of foreign policy. The Greek states celebrated their apparent liberation with parades and honors, unaware that they had effectively traded their independence for a Roman protection racket. The strategy continued when the Seleucid Empire attempted to exert its own influence over Greece. Rome immediately pivoted its alliances to counter this new challenger. The Senate mobilized its Greek proxy network, including their former enemies in Macedon, to defeat the Seleucids at Thermopylae and Magnesia. The Seleucids were forced to pay an indemnity of 15,000 talents and abandon their territories in Asia Minor. In a few years, Rome had effectively dismantled the Mediterranean's largest empire. With no major empires left to challenge them, Rome turned its aggression toward the Greek allies who were no longer necessary. After a final crushing victory at Pydna, the Senate dissolved the unified Macedonian kingdom. As the map shows, the region was split into 4 isolated zones, with hard borders and laws that prevented trade or intermarriage between them. The Roman loop was complete. Use local proxies to destroy the largest threat, then neutralize those proxies once they were no longer useful. The remaining Greek leagues soon realized that their independence was an illusion. They were no longer dealing with a group of competing kings, but with an absolute Roman authority. In 1460 BC, a final, desperate Greek rebellion was met with overwhelming force. Rome abandoned its role as a liberator and moved toward total annexation. As a warning to any who might resist, the legions targeted the ancient city of Corinth for total destruction. The city was burned, its men were killed, and its women and children were enslaved. Greece was officially dissolved and organized into a Roman province. Rome built its empire by mastering the art of divide it impera, divide and conquer. The Republic achieved total control over the Mediterranean, by providing the means for a sophisticated ancient world to dismantle itself.